Have you heard of Gary Stevenson? Ex-trader, author, YouTuber and influencer with nearly 150 million views. And his pitch? That the rich are rigging the system, the poor are screwed, so we should tax the billionaires now. His message is articulate, it's urgent, it's compelling, but here's the thing, he's also got it completely wrong. For a start, Rachel Reeves is already going after the rich. She's taxing private schools, going after non-doms, massively upping inheritance tax, and she is getting results. Just not the ones she quite expected. But Sunday Times Rich List has just recorded the biggest ever drop in billionaires. UBS Wealth Management says the UK is going through a millionaire exodus unseen by any other country. And yes, this will make Britain more equal. That's what happens if there are fewer rich people around. Uganda became a lot more equal when Idi Amin expelled all the Asian business leaders with calamitous consequences. But surely the point in politics is to help those in the middle and, most importantly, at the bottom. It's just a fallacy to say that you can only do this by hounding those at the top. Gary Stevenson says the rich are sucking wealth from the rest of us. That's because he says the return on assets outpaces economic growth, so when Rishi Sunak gets interest on his assets, they will grow faster than economic growth. When that happens, inequality gets worse. Now, you might have heard of this before. This is Thomas Piketty's theory from 2013. But here's the twist. The Piketty theory doesn't stand up. A massive IMF study from 19 countries debunked it. But you might not have heard that because those stories never properly told. Until now, that is. This guy rebuilt the data, added housing, pensions, the works for a full picture. His findings about the UK and the world have just gone through a massive inequality reduction as well as getting massively richer. Not through tax raids or war or revolutions, but through growth, education, fair markets and letting people invest. So the wealth share of the UK's 1% has dropped from 70% to 20% over the course of a century. If you want to know when Britain was most equal according to this metric, it was 1988, when Nigel Lawson cut taxes and popular shareholding was advocated with a Tell Sid campaign. So yes, Gary Stevenson's book The Trading Game was a bestseller, it's a very good book and it is a radicalizing call for action, but it doesn't quite tell you the real story because the truth is less fiery. It's about realism, not about revolution, but it's far more useful if you care about fixing things. So it's time we stopped fretting about the number of billionaires. We actually need more of them to make society fairer and to relieve the burden on the poorest. It's time to start counting the number we're pushing out of the economy. That is where our social contract is breaking, and that is where our anger should really be directed.